know those Formula Ones really seem to rip up the tracks, don't they?
They do. They remove a lot of the ice off of these racetracks. That's why they have to start with so much ice. They send these machines out and they do cut it down awfully quick.
And Terry Wall already with a victory here today. We'll see how he can fare in the championship race, which will be after the next race coming up. Now, Dale Loretz also expected to be back for that race. He took a bad spill in the Formula One final that was just completed. But hopefully Dale can get things in gear. He's a local guy from Green Bay. For much more on Dale Loretz, here's Christy McMillan.
For 21 years, Dale Loretz of Green Bay has devoted his heart and soul to his #1 love, snowmobile racing, thus forcing everything else in his life to take a back seat.
I own a trucking company, and in winter I just park my truck that I drive, and then I go racing because it takes all of my time. Like, we start in November, we race all the way to March, so for 4 months we're on the road pretty steady.
Being able to see the sights and sounds of cities all across the United States and Canada would be nothing but the best for most people. But for Dale, who spends 5 to 6 days a week on the road for half of the year, it tends to get a little old and tiresome.
Well, the traveling gets a little, I don't know what you call it, it gets hard on your system, or, I mean, because you're traveling all night to get to the race, and then you race for 2 days, and then you leave that night and you travel 1,000 miles to get home, you know, like we did this week. And it kind of drains you down, but you just get pumped back up and fix everything and go do it again, you know.
As a back-to-back world champion in 1994 and 95 and a second-place finisher in 96 and 97, leads one to believe that Dale likes the course here at Eagle River and should be one to keep an eye on Sunday.
I love Eagle River. I don't know, it's more of a driver track because the banks are so high, and there's a lot of room on the track to pass. You know, if conditions get bad, you still got a lot of room to pass. For a lot of tracks, get to be one lane and stuff.
And a 35-lapper like we're up against, even if he turned out to be slower, he's still a big threat just because physically he can do it, you know. And he has enough experience, so again, in the crunch situations when your machine isn't working, he can make the decision and make it work right.
It may not be the easiest lifestyle to live by, but to Dale, there's no other way.
I just love it. You know, as I said, I've been doing it 21 years, and I still, to this day, it hasn't changed for me. You know, I love the sport, and hopefully I'll love it for many more years, you know.
And some tough luck for Dale Loretz today, but maybe he can get things turned around. A man who you probably know quite well, Ted Otto. He's the flagman here at Eagle River. Very important job, and right now he's standing by with Christy McMillan.
All right, thanks a lot, Dave. Ted Otto, head flagman here at Eagle River, is joining me now. And Ted, we just got done with the F1 race. Terry Wall took the championship there. The Wall guys are really some spectacular racers.
They are. They have a family operation, and his Uncle Dave and his father Dermont build all the machines. And the two drivers have done a tremendous job over the years. Uncle Dave has won this race 3 times. Young Terry has not won it as yet, but they're not going to be on Formula Ones today. They're going to be on Champ 440s, and it's a whole new ball game.
Surprisingly, Dale Loretz from Green Bay went out on that race on turn 1. Kind of an unusual sight there from Dale.
Yes, he's an excellent driver, and I think what happened is he hooked his ski in a rut that has formed up in the racetrack, and it just got him off balance and pitched him. I talked to him a few moments ago by radio, and his shoulder hurts a little bit, and they're taking off his leathers and looking at it, but he hopes to be back for the championship race.
And the championship race, which is shortly coming up this afternoon, is the race that everybody's been waiting for all weekend. Any type of favorites you got in mind?
Well, I have an idea who has the best shot, but this is racing, and anything can happen if the machine fails, or there's contact between a couple of them, or he just makes the wrong decision. It can go away in a hurry. Most anyone could win it, but there's probably 4 in there that I think it'll come from.
And someone we really haven't talked much about all afternoon, Mike Hool, who is currently leading in the USSA point standings, and who has a very good shot of maybe knocking off Dave Wall from that defending spot of last year.
Yeah, you see, Michael has never driven a Formula One machine with twin tracks, which is no longer the championship event, and he is an expert on single tracks. Not that the other fellas are not, they've been driving them too, but when you get to single tracks, you want to keep your eye on Mike Hool because he's always in there.
All right, thank you very much, Ted Otto, head flagman here at Eagle River. We're going to toss it back up to Dave.
All right, thanks a lot, Christy. Ted Otto with some insight there as to Dale Loretz's status. If he does race hurt, how much is that going to hurt his chances in the final?
it's going to hurt him an awful lot. Dale Loretz is one of the toughest guys out here on the racetrack, but any little injury at all, the strains of the 25-lap race is enough alone, but when you're fighting an injury out there, it doesn't make things any better, that's for sure.
All right, we have the Pro Stock Final coming up next. That's going to be our very next race. We're going to take a timeout, and we'll be back with more racing from Eagle River after this. You are watching the hottest sleds on ice. Let's take a local station timeout. 25-lap World Championship race. It's on deck. It's not the next race, but it'll be up after that. And a lot of big names are going to be in this one. The Walls will hopefully both be in it again. Dale Loretz could be back in it. Jacques Villeneuve, a guy you know very well, and he's going to be a force to be contended with in that race as well.
Oh, for sure. Jocko, we call him, around the circuit, had probably one of the quickest sleds out there in qualifying yesterday. So, you know, yes, for sure. He's always been a contender. He's a three-time world champion already. He'd love to add the fourth to his list.
And earlier this week, Bill Holland had a chance to catch up with Jacques Villeneuve.
Here in Eagle River, winning a world championship puts a driver's name in the record books for eternity. And Jacques Villeneuve of Quebec has won 3 world championships. Your thoughts on shooting for that 4th title?
Well, it is important. I mean, we two of us has 3. Dave Wall and myself, we each have 3. So we're trying to be the first one to be 4. So we both gonna try hard. They have a little bit of an advantage on me, the Walls, Dave and Terry, because they're running the single track champ for 2 years already. I ran a little bit last year, but I got hurt right away, so I couldn't race the rest of the winter. So it's a little different for me. I'm not that far behind, but hopefully we'll be there at the end.
You've won a championship on a single track machine, but the technology has changed over the years. Is it a difficult adjustment for you?
No, I mean, you know, I grew with it, so it's pretty simple as that, you know, so I came along with it, and I'm so used to twin track for the last 15 years almost, and then back to a single right away like that. When you have to switch between the twin and the single, the twin and the single, you have to set up your mind towards it, and it's a little different, but it's not that bad, because the single track that we made this year is almost like a twin track. I mean, it's the same front end. The front end is all the same, except the rear has got a single track instead of 2. So, you know, driving style-wise, it's pretty close. It's just a matter of a small adjustment that we have to make.
It's more than a decade since your last championship. Any question in your mind you're still a good enough driver to beat these young guys?
Well, I hope so. I mean, I've been there every year, and I hurt myself in the last couple of years, but I'm back and I'm trying hard. Raced hard last weekend and proved that we're fast. We're 4th right now, so we're not that far behind. So I think, you know, we're there when it's time to race.
3-time champion Jacques Villeneuve. No one has more championships. No one will drive harder to win in 1998.
All right, thanks a lot, Bill. Jacques looking to become the first 4-time champion in the history of Eagle River, and right now, probably still in his trailer, and he's probably a lot warmer than we are.
Jocko keeps one of the warmest trailers in the pit area. Every time I was cold and looking for a place to warm up quick, he always kept it around 100 degrees in there.
All right, we're going to go look for that trailer right now while we take a time out. We'll be back with more of the hottest sleds on ice from Eagle River after this local station break.